Welcome to LOBE. Today, Ryan and I have something special for you. We're going to go over the running backs that will be available. Unrestricted free agents this year, this offseason, that is. And it's what you see in front of us. The list you see in front of us, starting with Saquon Barkley. Let's go ahead and chat about him a little bit. This guy, do you think he is even going to get available into the market, or do you think the Giants are going to go ahead and lock this dude up for another year?
Oh, I would say that they lock him up for another year.
They franchise tag him.
Something. I mean, whether it's a franchise tag or give him another contract, he's a giant. I mean, he's the whole offense. Can't trust Danny Dimes.
Yeah, so I feel like let's go ahead and say we both agree he is not going to leave the Giants. But let's say the Giants say to him, yo, we're going to franchise tag you. And he goes, no, either a contract or I'm not playing for you next year. And so then there's a holdout. Or
holdout situation. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and play this scenario out. The last scenario. They say, okay, you're free. And he goes out. What team does he go and play for?
Oh, honestly, any team would be.
Any team, he's already like that great. Even the Niners.
So I feel like that's a real wild card. Any team who has enough money and feels like doesn't have a bona fide top 10 running back, I think would have justification to go get him.
Yeah, I honestly
really,
agree.
I would say anybody.
You could pair him up in San Francisco with McCaffrey and have the most dominant run game ever created.
Yeah, if you wanted to get crazy, but like I said, it'd have to be a team without a top 10 running back. Chris McCaffrey would probably be a top 10 running back. So I think the craziest team that might not have a top 10 running back would be like the Bengals. And then they'd be like, yeah, Barkley's better than Joe Mixon, so fuck it.
And really just about any team, I just instantly think Barkley makes the team better. Even if there's another A. I don't know.
But that's even more to the point of why the Giants likely will not let him go. It's not.
Yeah, he's an S tier running back. When you think of putting S tier on a running back, it's probably Barkley and one or two other dudes.
Why sell him? There's nothing to be gained.
So that's that with Barkley, and let's go ahead and take a look at Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had a best career year, ran for the most yards out of any running back, handled a hell of an amount of snaps, got paid about $3 million or so last year. He will be available. Whether he gets franchise tagged or not, I don't know. Same situation as Barkley. What do you think is a year younger?
I think it depends on what they want to do as far as their whole team. There's rumors about Tom Brady going there. If Tom Brady goes to the Raiders, they need a running back that Tom Brady likes and feels secure with as far as pass blocking goes, and that would be Josh Jacobs. If they want to move on and rebuild the team, and you offload Josh Jacobs on his awesome year before you have to pay him, because $3 million is not much to pay a running back. I mean, after having the rushing title this year, he's going to be looking at Barkley numbers. He wants to get paid at least, I'd say, $6 million or more.
I would say, yeah, probably 7 or 8 if you're
or a couple numbers. 2 or 3 4-year contracts. So it depends. Does Vegas want to rebuild, or do they want to try for a Super Bowl? If they're going for a Super Bowl with their current roster, pay the man.
Let's go ahead and say he gets released. from the Raiders, and they don't franchise tag him. He goes pretty much anywhere, and he already makes that offense much scarier, right?
I figured like there might be 15 other running backs better than him. So look at little smaller of a pool than if Barkley were to go, but most teams I would say it better. Like I would rather have Joe Mixon though than Josh Jacobs to take from the other
Okay.
comparison I did.
Yeah, I
would
don't know.
want I would want a lot of the rookies. Like I'd want Kenneth Walker more. If
Yeah.
I was in Kansas City, if I was at Kansas City, I would want Josh Jacobs over Pacheco.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
if he leaves, a team like Kansas City be interested. I mean, you have a lot of teams
the
interested. I
dude's
mean,
only 25. He's not even
there,
25 yet.
there's at least I don't know, at least like 5 teams I can think of that need a running back.
But they're gonna have to
There's
pay him.
2 that need a running back. Like Miami and the Bills are gonna be. We'll get to those names a little bit. Actually, the next one is we can talk about it right now. Devin Singletary is the
Yeah.
next running back on this list. So the Bills have to make a decision on whether to pay Singletary.
They don't
Go
like
with Moan.
Singletary.
They don't seem to like him. Yeah, because they were trying out Cook, not Moss. Cook, James Cook.
It was like a
Rookie.
three-headed back there for a while.
Yeah, who was the third one?
I don't remember. Josh Allen.
Sure.
I don't know. Probably there's another running back though. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Devin
like they're going to
Singletary
sign
just
him
doesn't.
to
He had the most
good.
snaps, and that's what we're filtering this by. We're filtering it by last year's snaps. That's quite a bit of snaps at almost 700 snaps. So obviously he was their most used running back, like
Sure.
for sure.
They don't seem to like him, like you were saying.
They don't though. They don't really use him that much.
So I'm wondering. This is the first one where I'm like, I think the team might move on from Devin,
Yeah.
and then two things pop in my mind. One, where would the Bills go in free agency if they could pick? And then 2, like where would Devin go from there? Like what team might pick up Devin?
You're not
Seems that
paying
other
much, right? You're not paying much. His salary averaging $1 million.
He's gonna
What's he
win
gonna
the
demand? Maybe
contract.
2 or 3.
I think he's at the end of his rookie contract. He's 25.
Yeah, so he might ask for 2 or 3 mil.
Right. I don't think he's gonna ask for a lot.
No,
But
but
I'm
let's go ahead and
wondering.
move on. I don't even honestly. There's a lot of better backs in Singletary, right?
Right, that are the same age. I mean, the next 3 players on this list are all the same age as Devin.
And I would argue better.
I would argue, yes, all 3 are better. So,
And I would argue
Marcus
Mostert's
not
better
very
too,
good.
but we'll get there.
of course you would. Yeah, Miles Sanders. I mean, I feel like Philly's gonna keep him because he had 1,000 yards this year. On, I don't think that many attempts, because they don't need him to be a crazy yardage guy with Jalen Hurts there.
Yeah, they don't need him to be taking a ton of snaps either, it looks like, because he's at 644 snaps. We saw Singletary doesn't seem like he's like loved that much by Buffalo, and he got more snaps.
Right, and I think Sanders played all year too. I don't think he missed a single game.
He got all 17 games in. Let's say he ends up staying with Philly. It would make sense. But
I like
maybe
Kenneth Gainwell though, so
maybe he leaves. I don't know where he goes. That makes sense to me. You know.
I mean teams that need running backs are like the Bills, Miami, the Ravens, Atlanta, Carolina, the Rams. Kansas
The
City.
Giants, if Barkley gets out of there. The Raiders,
Obviously, yeah. Any of
Jacobs
these
get out of
teams,
there.
if these guys leave, we don't think
Dallas,
we stay. Dallas
Kansas
could
City.
be. I mean,
Kansas City
Dallas
could use him.
depends on that Tony Pollard. I feel like Dallas is going to keep Tony Pollard. I don't know
So
why
let's
you
go ahead.
wouldn't.
Let's go ahead and maybe move on. Talk about some more like polarizing names. David Montgomery. I don't know. I really don't even know how to talk about a Chicago running back. We need Kirk, to be honest. I don't watch any Bears games.
The only conflict with David, why they might give him up, is because of Khalil Herbert. Because Khalil Herbert's pretty good running back, and then you don't have to pay David Montgomery. And David Montgomery's also not a third down running back, more times than not. Like he's just a 1-1-2, and I believe Khalil Herbert can play all three downs. So I think it's the same, almost the same question as the Raiders. Do the Bears want to rebuild? Then don't pay Montgomery with Herbert. Are you going to try to win the division? You should probably pay Montgomery and see what gets you there. That's my take on it, at least.
Yeah, so I'm making it bigger for you guys that maybe can't see the screen that well or have bad internet connection. Tony Pollard right there underneath David Montgomery, and we're talking about snaps for last year. Tony Pollard was also paid probably the least out of all the running backs that we've seen so far, and possibly making the most impact out of maybe, 3 out of the people that are ahead of him in this list. So
For sure. 1,000 yards.
he hit 1,000 yards on 500 snaps. That's crazy. Singletary had almost 700 snaps, almost 200 snaps, 150 more snaps at least more, and he got almost 200 yards less, 4 touchdowns less, 100 less receiving yards. I mean, Tony Pollard made a lot more out of his opportunities than most of these backs. Tony Pollard probably stays with Dallas, right?
It looks like he did more with his. I say he stays, yeah, for sure. And I think he did more with his production than Mostert did.
What if he doesn't want to stay there because of Zeke?
Mostert.
He's like, I want to be the main back.
I think he's okay. The only way Zeke stays is if Zeke restructures his contract to stay. If Zeke's not willing to take less money, I think the team needs to move on from Zeke via trade and keep Pollard. Don't know why you would ever get rid of Pollard and then keep Zeke. Unless you're making some 3D chess move where you're going to go get Sanders from your rival, which I doubt would happen. But
Wow,
it could
paying
happen.
Zeke was such a bad
Bad
move,
move.
wasn't it?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
So
yes.
paying Barkley might be a bad move. Paying Josh Jacobs might be a bad move.
Yes. Correct.
Now
I
we're getting
don't
to
think the
a
Giants-
guy who I believe is the most bang for all buck in running back history, an overlooked running back, maybe of all time. A guy who holds the highest yards per carry in his career than the majority of all Hall of Famers, Raheem Mostert. And that's a hard one to pass up when you think that he's also carried a team to a Super Bowl. This last year, I think he averaged close to 5 yards a carry again. He did get hurt. He does get hurt quite a bit, but he is only getting $2 million a year. If you've been with us, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and take a break real quick. I got someone at the door. Every time we try to do this episode, this happens. Yo, I'll be right back.